And now to this, a fresh new Gallup poll shows that there is now a record high number of adults in the U.S. identifying as political independents. 45% of Americans aged 18 and older surveyed last year said they are in fact independents. And as you see here, 27% identify as Democrats and 27% identify as Republicans. Here to discuss this and more is CBS News political director Fin Gómez. Fin, great to see you this Friday. You know, you and I have discussed so many times about polarization and how it's getting worse in the U.S. So should we be surprised by this poll? And what does this large number of independents signal about this year's midterms?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, Errol. Well, you have talked about this, and I think it does show how disaffected voters are right now. There's this immense dissatisfaction and frustration with both parties, and that frustration is really building in this cycle, especially among younger voters who don't trust either party, according to this poll. What it also signals to me, Errol, for the midterms is increased volatility in this electorate. Independents don't vote as a bloc. Now, the majority of these voters who identify as politically independent are what we call soft partisans. They side more with one political party over the other. But this data shows that more of these independent voters, Errol, are up for grabs this cycle. And that can be a real factor in some of these tight competitive races this year. Also for those candidates running as anti-establishment outsiders this cycle, this bodes well for them, Errol.
Really interesting. And the other major issue we talk about often is the economy and people's pocketbooks. Both House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senator Elizabeth Warren zeroed in on the economy this week. Let's listen to them discussing midterms and their strategies.
We are very bullish about the midterms. I'm absolutely convinced we're going to grow the majority. Yeah, we should run with Trump. Absolutely. His policies are working. All boats are rising. These economic numbers are going to be off the charts. People are going to be feeling very good about their income.
Here we are 1 year into the Trump administration, and the cost of housing is up, the cost of health care is up, the cost of utilities is up, the cost of groceries is up. All of those are up because of Trump and congressional Republican policies. It is the job of Democrats to hold Donald Trump and the Republicans accountable, to lay out the plans that really will reduce costs, and then to get out there and fight for them.
And that was Senator Warren speaking directly to the takeout on Monday. So what does all of this mean for the midterms, Fin?
Yeah, it means that the affordability is a huge factor. It's going to be a huge role, but it's cost of things, inflation, cost of housing, childcare, healthcare, credit cards, and what we are consistently seeing that these concerns are the top issues for most voters this cycle. And both parties, as you see there, are preparing for it. They're strategizing on it and running on it. And what you are seeing in those two positions that you played is how this could be framed by Republicans and Democrats leading into the cycle. Trump and Republicans are saying the economy is going in the right direction and will only improve this year. Democrats are essentially saying, hey, this economic pain you're feeling right now, that is Trump's fault, they're saying.
Okay, we'll see how that plays out specifically with this new larger group of independents. And before we let you go, I want to ask you about some new polling out of a widely watched Senate race in Texas, a state Texas Senate race. Help explain what I mean here.
Well, everything is big in Texas, they say, Errol, and there's no bigger race this year than I think this one in terms of Senate races. Yeah, according to this new Emerson poll, State Representative James Talarico has surged into the lead for the Democratic nomination with about 47% support amongst likely Democratic primary voters, while Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett trails around 38%, 15% are undecided. But this represents a notable shift from earlier polling where Crockett was ahead, which suggests momentum for Talarico, who has a large social media presence and has been praised by progressives to Joe Rogan as an outsider candidate. It also shows that Hispanic voters in Texas are helping propel his candidacy. On the Republican side, it's very close. Attorney General Ken Paxton is essentially tied with incumbent Senator John Cornyn, and Congressman Wesley Hunt is in third. But nearly 30% of Republican voters are undecided, according to this poll. If no candidate approaches a majority, a runoff in May between the two top Republicans, Errol, is increasingly likely. Democrats are hoping, though, that Paxton will win the Republican primary. Both Talarico and Crockett trail Cornyn by a few points, but against Paxton, both Democrats are essentially tied.
Fascinating race there for the U.S. Senate in Texas. Fin, across all of that, get out there and enjoy your weekend, Fin. Great to chat with you today.
You too, Errol. Thank you.